Hello, hello, hello again, my little Luxes. Welcome back to another Luxy Charms, and I'm your host, Tracy Lux. And today I am doing kind of a quick overview, movie review type of idea, because this is a very recent film. But also, as you can tell by my attire, and we are bringing back Luxmas again. I am recording today. It is December 1st, so we are officially in Christmas territory. Although technically, that starts for Black Friday for me generally. But for video wise, it's just nice to finally get festive, feel festive, get dressed up, and to celebrate Luxmas. But Luxmas is also very dear to my heart because this is the 3-year anniversary of my channel. And I started with Luxmas, except I was dressed as a Christmas version of Freddy Krueger. So my idea for this whole month was to have a merry Luxmas. So I am a Christmas-inspired Freddy Krueger. So why not put on an ugly Christmas sweater and throw on a Santa hat and do this quick movie review. Now, why am I saying quick? And also no spoilers, because this is a very recent film. Now, anyone that has been with me through this journey know that I will disclose spoiler alerts well ahead of time because of the fact that I talk about anything and everything when it comes to the film. And I knew that light was going to go out.
A few moments later.
Anyone who has been here with me on my journey through my channel, through all the changes and growth, that I disclose very early on spoiler alerts because I like to dive deep when I talk about films, especially when it comes to horror films. I love it and I love storytelling, so taking that same element and creating it into a story, talking about the plot, and then also talking about trivia, favorite behind the scenes type of extras, and also talking about recommendations and what I felt about the film. This one is too recent. I do not want to be one of those people that I'm going to... yes, I can obviously put at the front of this one and say spoiler alert, that if I am going to be disclosing this one, I can always do that, and that's always an option. But for this one, just because it's so recent, I want to make this quick, to the point, or try. Because we all know I love to talk.
Duh.
But that's the thing. This type of stuff excites me. I love talking about horror. I love talking about movies and the influence of history and throughout time, how just things in just general, what influences movies, and talking about the fact of it. This is a good one to get on topic about, so no spoilers. I'm not going to dive anywhere like past the realm of the trailers, which that's also another element to talk about, the fact. But this is the 2024 film, The Mousetrap. Because as we all know, Steamboat Willie for Mickey Mouse just became open and it's not under copyright anymore. And it's the same thing that happened with Winnie the Pooh, so we ended up with Blood and Honey, and we have all those horror movies. And it seems to be the thing that happens is that when all of these movies become free-range open and not under copyright anymore, horror movies tend to snag them up right away. And that's kind of what this one feels like. So let's get into it, let's talk about it, and I'm also not going to be sharing clips from this one. So yes, generally my deep dives, you get the fun amount of me talking about it, you get clips in that. I don't feel like dealing with copyright, because as we all know, YouTube does not protect its small creators. Doesn't really protect their larger creators either when it comes to copyright, because some of these companies kind of go a little overboard in my opinion. But let's jump into it and let's talk about The Mousetrap. Now, to just do a quick plot summary to let you kind of know what the film is about. The idea is that Alex, who is celebrating her 21st birthday, or I should say she's turning 21, but she's stuck working at the job she's at. And it's kind of at this retro looking arcade kids play place type of idea. Well, her and her other coworker get roped in by their boss to stay late for a private party that has paid extra for them to be there till late. Well, come to find out, it was actually all of Alex's friends, and they were planning on celebrating her 21st birthday, and this kind of was a surprise for her. So, as things go, and you have the idea of that while they are celebrating Alex's birthday, this mysterious, possessed person with the spirit of Mickey Mouse from the old cartoon Steamboat Willie starts to wreak havoc and decides to start offing Alex's friends. So, can Alex survive? Can she escape? Watch the film, you'll find out. But I was able to get the opportunity to watch this because it was on Prime. So I have Prime, so I was able to stream it and watch it. And so I can get into my thoughts about it. And I can be pretty quick to say that I wanted to love this film. I really did. And when it comes to the cinematography, the camera work, the use of color and everything, and especially the use of lights. Like, they were very inventive with how they use the lighting and that type of, that felt like an amazing element that they added to it. So there were certain aspects to it that I did like, but the plot line and the storyline was lacking for me. And this felt like it was rushed. Like, the idea that it was written out quickly just so that they could quickly make this film, be the first ones to get this Mickey Mouse horror movie out there type of idea. And it felt rushed. And like I said, I really, really wanted to like this one. And this one is in between, mediocre for me. And it's one of those, yes, I can recommend it to anyone who loves horror, to give it a watch. It deserves at least a watch. And it's the same thing with Blood and Honey. I mean, obviously, we all know that one fell flat. But because of that one being made, it got picked up. And the second Blood and Honey was an excellent film. So the same thing can happen with The Mousetrap. But the thing is I really did like the way that they were doing things, and that at first they had the kills off screen, which is very old school. But of course, back in the day, you couldn't show the brutality. Otherwise, your movie would literally get rated beyond RX and all that, to where nobody could see your movie. But it also helps with the imagination, where you're thinking of the kills and how brutal it could actually be. So it's one of those where I appreciated a lot of things to it. But like I said, it's the storyline just felt so flat for me. And the acting, I can say that the acting was subpar, and I don't know if that had to do with the dialogue and everything else, or if it really was the acting that they just fell flat themselves, where they felt like cookie cutter characters, and we all know how much I can't stand the cookie cutter characters. And it gets to that element, especially when it comes to B-rated horror and that kind of stuff, that we always say, do they just make all these characters to seem horrible and I'm not rooting for them, so that I am happy when they die? But I want to get back to that old school where you have the storyline, where you are rooting for the characters, when you actually do feel something when someone dies. And yes, you have to have that one jerk, or a Karen, we'll call them Karens now, that horrible person that you are excited when their character does off. Or maybe they have a story arc where they become a better person and evolve through time. And, we like to see character arcs, evolution, and growth when it comes to that type of stuff. And that's what has always fascinated me when it comes to horror. The element of the final girl or the final boy or final woman, final man, all elements when it comes to that, is the idea that you have a character that is rising up that wouldn't normally be this type of person to become evolved themselves, and that they have to tap into their own inner darkness in order to survive, because sometimes you have to think just as brutally as the killer in order to escape or survive. That's a whole nother topic, like I said, so yes, this was one of those I'll probably watch every once in a while, to watch with a friend, to poke fun at. It had a lot of fun elements at the same time. I did really like the costuming as well, but I need storyline. I need a plot to it. I don't want it to feel hollow. I don't want it to feel rushed. And I think this is the other bad part about new age movies, is because people's attention span are so short now that things have to be consistent and constant. And that's the weirdest part when you think about it. Yes, we have a lot of films out there nowadays where we have movies that are as long as 2 hours, but people's short attention spans, movies are clicking, they're going, they're quick, they're fast paced, and that drives me nuts too. I miss the artistic elements where things slow down, where you have moments to breathe and to think about things, and things build up and you can feel suspense and intense moments, and you also have those moments to just relax and to digest what you're seeing. We don't get that a lot in the newer horror films, which is probably why a lot of people say that they love 80s and 90s horror, that's what it was about the storyline, not just about brutally killing the annoying teenagers. Or in these ones, they're young adults. I mean, if they're 21, then, but you know what I mean. So to sum this up, wrap this up, I wasn't a fan of this one, but I didn't hate it. I didn't despise it. It still had enough to it that it can be a fun watch. Like I said, watch it with some friends, have a good drink, and just enjoy it for what it is. But I would love to see this pushed farther. And like I said, I want to see future horror films get back to that root, back to that old element. And we need to restudy history, especially when it comes to horror films. And yes, we are influenced by things around us. That's how it's always been, especially for horror films. But we need to get back to the roots. And we need to get back to that gritty story. We need to have those characters that we're rooting for, that we appreciate. And we need that storyline. And we need it to build and evolve. Not to just be boom, boom, scene, next part, this is going on. It feels like AI is writing the story, and I don't want that. And I know AI, well, I'm assuming AI didn't write it, because Simon Phillips, who also played one of the characters in this film, was the writer of the film. So I don't want to think that this was done with AI, but that's the tone that people keep going with, is that it's just surface level types of ideas, and I want to see it pushed farther, because it was there. The idea was there. It just felt rushed, and that's the best way I can put it without revealing, obviously, any of the film. And also talking about the fact that, yes, people have shorter attention spans. Even though movies are longer, they're still quicker paced because people have shorter attention spans. And they also want spoilers. This was the thing that blew my mind, because I've been noticing more and more, especially when it comes to trailers. So wrapping back to when I was going to talk about the trailers seem to spoil a lot nowadays. And there's a lot of times I'm watching trailers and I realize when watching the film, I'm like, all the best parts were already revealed to me in the trailer. So I'm to the point where I don't like watching trailers, because I don't like having things spoiled to me before I've seen it. Now, I'm also one of those that if I haven't watched a film in a certain amount of time and spoilers start coming out, it doesn't bother me, like I'm fine with it, but I don't want it revealed to me in the trailer. Like, visually, I don't want to see it. So I hope that makes sense. Like, visually, I don't want it spoiled to me, but vocally, if somebody spoils something to me, I can at least handle that a lot better. But trailers shouldn't be revealing everything. Trailers shouldn't be telling you the whole storyline so that when you're watching the movie, you can guess it. Like, Trapped is a perfect example of that. Like, why was everything revealed in the trailer? But anyway, like I said, wanted to talk about the mousetrap and also to celebrate Lucksmiths. And I'm excited for the fact that this is the 3rd year I have been on my channel for here. And I've been doing this for quite a bit of time, surprisingly, where it's like, how has that amount of time already gone by? But anyway, thank you for joining me here on another Luxy Charms, and let me know, have you seen The Mousetrap yet? What did you think about it? Did you have other moments that you liked and appreciated? Did you like the film? Did you dislike it? Did you hate it? Like, let me know. Don't reveal too much in the comments yourself. I mean, we want to keep this as spoiler-free as possible. And also, if you would like to follow me on all my other social medias, I will have a link in the description down below. And remember, I am the afterlife of the party, but I would love for you to join me in the afterlife of the party. And the easiest way to do that is to come and join me on my Patreon. And I share personal vlogs. I share, well, they're kind of podcast style because someone recently was asking me if I have a podcast or not. My vlogs, my personal vlogs on there, which are technically my Charcy chats, they're now on my Patreon. Those are very podcast-like. And I've been doing these recent hiking videos, which you've been seeing them being incorporated into my videos. I've been doing a lot more shorts with them, but they're a part of my scary stories now, where my hiking videos while I'm doing my voiceovers are a part of it. But anyway, you can see on the screen a shout out to all of my fellow Patreon members. Thank you so much for being there and helping me out. And a special shout out to my Ultimate Luxes. So thank you so much to Chris Bruner and to Bishop. Thank you so much for being an Ultimate Lux with me. And always remember to slay, subscribe, like, and always be yourself. And always remember that your mental health is just as important as your physical health. And we're coming into that time of year where I struggle with seasonal depression. And it's hitting me faster this year, probably with, obviously, the election going on. That's drained me. And then on top of that, it has gotten atrociously cold fast here in the area that I live. Like, we had a high of 26 today. That is ridiculous. I'm still crazy bundling up and going for hikes, but you know what? It felt good to be outside and moving around because it helps with my seasonal depression. But anyway, thank you so much once again for joining me on here. Stay healthy, try and stay above it all, hang in there, and enjoy the rest of your day and have a Luxmas type of season. Bye!